Evening, Clayton.
Hey, good evening, man. I'm kind of pumped tonight. How about you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You really getting off there? You got the AK going, and
The AK.
that's a nice AK.
Yeah, that's an actually American-made one.
Is
I
it
kind of like it. It's a lot of
good?
fun. This is it makes it. This is the weapon of choice of your enemy. It makes a distinct sound when it's being fired at you. Remember that movie?
Heartbreak Ridge.
Yes.
Hey, Eric. Good evening. Yeah, I don't remember seeing that one when I was down there. Hey, Brian. Good evening.
I had to kind of, bring some of them cool things out when I decided.
Yeah,
to
I
put
like
behind
that.
me, so.
Like that. I like
Hey,
that.
Eric. Hey, Brian. Brian, I loved it. Seen you sporting a little guns in the 701. That's cool.
Yeah. Evening, Waylon. Good seeing you,
grabbed
buddy.
that picture. I forgot. But
Yeah,
well,
you should.
got the chats are rolling. But before we get going too far, we'll start our show off like we do each and every time with our Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And I just
Perfect.
never gets old.
Yeah. And Sean Doctor, if you're listening, we get those other decals you want in the mail tomorrow, buddy. He saw
And
those
Dan,
he saw the picture on Brian's there. He wanted some.
I did.
So.
No, hey, they look good. They look great.
Yeah, it does.
I know Eric's got his on his lunchbox. Every day he takes his lunch to work, so that's always cool to see that on there. I was down to his place over New Year's and saw it there on his igloo. So.
Outstanding.
Well, okay. So did you have a good weekend?
Oh, I had an awesome weekend actually, and my buddy Diggity come up to the farm with me, and we caught some coyotes. He actually got his first coyote. He's been hunting deer out at our place for 14, 15 years, and then finally got himself a coyote. So it was a nice big male, probably about a 40-pounder.
That's awesome.
I got a little. I didn't get the shot on it. All I had was my iPhone. I was pretty janky to put on, but I did get a pretty nice little 4-minute video. You can check it out on our website or YouTube.
Okay, so you got up on YouTube there, so you can check it out there. That's good.
Yeah, it was great. How was your weekend? Did some shooting too. I got some cool videos of tracers.
Had some fun. I actually went out and did a little shooting on the targets out here. I did not get a chance to video any of it. It was kind of a spur of the moment thing. So it's just how it goes. Been kind of a busy week around here. I don't know, just a lot of things going on right now. We've got our big reorg coming up for District 31 in the GOP, and of course we got to take care of some end of the year and beginning of year Farm Bureau stuff. So I'm going to be sitting in meetings the next 2 weeks. Plus, I got to get the heifers bangs vaccinated. Yeah, and then we're going to freeze brand.
Better you than me. Hey, Austin, it was a little rough this morning, but it just got better as the day went on, buddy. Don't worry. Okay, well, shall we get into it here, Clay, or what?
Yeah, let's get her in. Let's go for it and get into this baby. Like I said, I got the chat rolling there, guys. So go ahead. Why don't you start us off?
Okay, so Democrat Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut.
Yep, so right
there.
There's his tweet.
He's got a great idea, according to him.
And according to him.
To prevent the spread of sanctuary counties, actually North Dakota is a sanctuary state now. There's a few counties too, right?
Counties, Stark and Emmons.
Yep. To stop the spread, like it's like your Second Amendment right is a disease. Require counties to certify. Yeah, it is to the leftists to require counties to certify that they enforce state and federal gun laws in order to be eligible for these DOJ Brin grants. So he wants to defund North Dakota, I guess, with federal tax dollars, right?
Basically, the Department of Injustice, as you were talking about,
under Democrats for sure.
Under Democrats, and well, I'll tell you what. Before we go on that, I got a little clip of him, and let's let everybody hear what this commie had to say.
I think the country's going to have to learn about what's going on in this country. The majority of counties in this country have declared that they are not going to enforce state and federal gun laws. They have decided that they are going to essentially refuse to implement laws that are on the books. That is a growing problem in this country. And I think we're going to have a conversation about that in the United States Senate. Do we want to continue to supply funding to law enforcement in counties that refuse to implement state and federal gun laws? Red flag laws are wildly popular.
Oh, wait a second. Did he just say that red flag laws are wildly
popular?
Wildly popular. Amazing.
Right. You're just temporarily taking guns away from people that.
So you want to withhold money for law enforcement?
I think.
Boom. She hit it, didn't she?
Yep.
Hey, we're doing a little something different here. I learned something new, guys.
I'm in.
We have to have a conversation about whether we can continue to fund law enforcement in states where they are refusing to implement these gun laws.
Wow. So he wants to defund the police, defund probably anybody going. I mean, sounds like a commie to me.
Well, he wants to defund law enforcement that won't enforce unconstitutional laws on their citizens.
Absolutely. But yet, I want to point out here, this is basically from his what he said.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't seem to bother him though, and we all know what's happening. It doesn't bother them about having sanctuary states, sanctuary counties, sanctuary cities for illegal aliens. Doesn't bother them for that.
Yeah, Democrats ignore the law all the time.
Absolutely, all the time. Doesn't matter. Every time they're hypocrites.
Yeah, and what he wants to do it when counties and states want to uphold your civil rights, your rights that are in the Bill of Rights, the foundation of this country, and your freedoms. And he wants to defund. He wants to defund our state, North Dakota, for being a sanctuary Second Amendment civil rights state.
Absolutely, and so I mean, you look at this Bryn grant, and like I said, these are grants that come out of the Department of Injustice, and it's $25,000 over 2 years, so it's $12,500. That ain't going to cover anything. I don't think anybody really gives a crap if they don't get that money. Who knows? But
I mean, like I said, if it was coming to me, I would, but. I'm not a state. I'm a little person. I'm just a little guy.
Just a little guy, huh?
They're supposed to stand up for guys like me, Democrats. The little man.
Oh, yeah. They're all for the people, right? Marty. Oh, Marty, absolutely. I'm there too, Marty. I am done following laws made by lawmakers that don't follow them. And absolutely. In fact, I really, and this is going to lead into what's coming up in the legislature. I hope Cord found a guy to carry the bill, but basically to nullify the NFA in the state of North Dakota on anything. And it's not just silencers, suppressors, whatever you want to call them. It's everything that the NFA does, because it is illegal if it stays in your state. It's a 10th Amendment deal. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Gene, good to have you along. Dems thought sanctuary cities and the border crossings are voting red. AOC would be putting brick walls up today. Absolutely. And that's just what we were talking about.
She'd be buttering the bricks herself. I'll promise you that.
Absolutely. Hey, Vance, glad to have you listening down there in Georgia. Hey, if anybody's watching, because I don't want to bring it up on here, let me know how that vote's going. They were supposed to come back in the session about 10 minutes ago, being they ran and hit after the fifth or sixth defeat of Mr. McCarthy, the Rhino.
Yep. Well, like we were talking about earlier, though, he's got a lot of freaking hardcore right-wingers supporting him, so I don't know what's going on there.
He does, but he's got a 16-year record that says he's not one.
I hear you, but hey, Trump did it, so.
And I mean, I don't know what's going to happen there. I'm proud of those particular 20 that are holding the line. At least it's bringing things up. And it's not them holding the party hostage. I'd say it's the other way around. It's the establishment, power-hungry, entitled people that are holding everybody else hostage. So good for them. Now, what will it accomplish? We shall see. I mean, this can go on for a long time. It really can.
Oh, yeah. And my mom says right on Coon Hunter. That's directed at Marty.
All right. So that was Murphy, and that's what he's planning to do.
Yeah. I would, like you said, he doesn't want to defund, the sanctuary states and all that, and Democrats, they are on the side of criminals, and they hate law-abiding citizens. And they hate people who want to follow the civil rights of America, I guess, right?
Well, it sure seems like it, and that's because of us kind of people. Well, we love this country, okay? We don't vote for liberal commies. You got to remember, everybody, the Democrat Party, and how many times have I said that on here, on the radio, or anywhere? It's the Democrat National Communist Party. It has been taken over by the communist hard left.
Without a doubt.
And they blew right by socialism. They want to implement, if they could today, they'd implement full communism. They definitely would.
Since you're talking about Democrat commies, we happen to have one coming to North Dakota the end of July here.
We do, don't we?
And, some of you people are going to hear this and you're probably going to get mad or turn your nose up. There he is. Clay put him up. Eric Church talks candidly about gun control in the NRA. Eric Church.
Like soy boy outfit. And
yep. The epitome. This guy is the epitome of a FUD. And if you don't know what a FUD is, go on the Urban Dictionary. It perfectly describes what a FUD is.
Yes.
And this guy, and we're going to get into Eric Church here. So after the, after this October thing in 2017 in Vegas, where this Paddock was up there and he got up in the Mandalay Bay, I guess, and shot he killed all these people there at the Route 91 harvest. Good old Eric Church, he had a few things to say about that. The guy coming to North Dakota, that a bunch of North Dakota people who own guns, love freedom, love hunting, and have thousands of rounds are going to go and spend their hard-earned money to listen to this asshole who can't stand them sing. Because he's got good music. It doesn't matter. Guess what? Go to somebody else's concert who isn't it? Yeah, we're gonna get into what he's got going here, right, Clayton? So
we are, and I think what we'll do that is we'll go into a break. We're
okay. Let's do that because I'm about to uncork here. So
let's take a quick break and thank our sponsors, and we'll come back and take care of this communist.
Guns in the 701 is sponsored by Lauer Auto Repair, located on 309 South Washington Street, Bismarck, North Dakota. Doug and the boys are patriots who support your Second Amendment rights with friendly service, decades of experience, competitive pricing, and expert advice for all your auto needs. It's getting colder out, so bring your vehicle in for a checkup and let Doug make sure you won't get stuck out in the cold this season. Stop in and let him know that you heard it on Guns and the 701 and you appreciate his support for your freedom and, most importantly, our Second Amendment civil right. That's Lauer Auto Repair, Bismarck, North Dakota. Give him a call, 701-258-6308.
Guns in the 701 is sponsored by The Blind Guy of North Dakota. For all your custom window coverings, you can contact them at 701-222-3932. They're freedom-minded, they're patriotic, and they love the Second Amendment. This husband-wife team was born and raised right here in North Dakota and based out of Bismarck. Again, for your Second Amendment company, for all your custom window coverings, The Blind Guy of North Dakota, 701-222-3932, or visit them on the web at blindguynd.com. All right. Ooh. And again, we want to thank our sponsors. They've been very gracious to us, and we couldn't do it without them. And hey, Axe, I heard you had a customer come in and heard it on the Guns in the 701. So hey, it's working. I'm glad to hear that.
And if that customer's listening, appreciate you doing that. That's awesome. Thank you.
As soon as you get done with your vehicle, have some blinds put in.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good idea, Clay.
A couple comments before we do that here. Well, this one here, and I couldn't agree more. Yeah, Eric Church sucks.
I like that.
Preparedness and outdoors. That's a new one here following us here.
Okay, appreciate you. Thank you.
Listening in, we appreciate it, and I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, 100%. If I could agree more than 100% with you, I would.
Won't be going to that Keith, Dick show.
Just trust me, you're going to get even more mad, Keith, when we get into it here. So
yeah, I can tell you right now, I've never been a fan of that new pop country myself, but I think what you got to do, and we'll go into this, make sure you get a hold of the North Dakota State Fair and let them know what you think. They need to hear this.
For sure.
I can tell you it does work. It's happened before up there, and they've canceled shows. So give them a call. Let them know you're not coming. So
Clay,
I'm gonna let you take lead on this.
Okay, so before we start on this, I just want to say there's going to be people listening that are like, "Wow, what are you going to do? I mean, you're just going to sit at home and do nothing?" No. But here's what you can do. After you hear this, what me and Clay are going to talk about, Eric Church. This is one guy you can easily avoid. And it's like pizza. What are you going to do? Hey, there's pizza. You can eat pizza every day and be a big schlubba, or you can eat pizza once a week and you're going to be all right. You got to minimize the damage. And when you give money to him, Eric Church, said he voted for Obama and he refused to vote for Trump.
Yes.
So if you like Donald Trump, I would guarantee you the guy thinks you're a piece of trash. So, okay, so here we go. Let's just yeah. So point is, you're right. You're never gonna get rid of every anti-gun or woke thing in your life. You know, you got an iPhone or any phone, really. I mean, it's a necessary evil. But something like this, or going to Disneyland or some crap, you don't have to do that because it's easily there's alternatives.
There are alternatives, guys. They are out there. Just got to search them out.
Yeah.
And you can't avoid some. You can't avoid it all. Like tonight, we are using equipment that I'm pretty much sure hates us as Americans. So.
Okay, so yeah, let's get into. So he had an interview with the Rolling Stone here, and this is what he got into right away. I'm a Second Amendment guy. No, you're not. That's in the Constitution.
As soon as they say that,
yeah, that's in the Constitution. It's people's right, and I don't believe it's negotiable. Well, obviously you do, because we're going to get into that. But nobody should have that many guns and that much ammunition, and we don't know about it. Okay, so we're going to break it down before I go. He's a constitutional that claims it's in the Constitution. It's your right. He doesn't believe it's negotiable. Wait a minute. He just negotiated that nobody should have that many guns and that much ammunition. You just, I mean, in one sentence.
Just completely opposite of each other. And decided he was going to negotiate it that you don't need, I guess, AK-41s. I mean, he goes on and says nobody should have 21 AKs. Well, you're right. We should have 25.
Right. Yeah. And 10,000 rounds of ammunition, and we don't know who they are. So not only does he think you can't have as many guns as you want, if you got 10,000 rounds, somebody needs to know about it because you're a problem.
That's funny. 10,000
Hey, I thought he said it wasn't negotiable, Clay.
Oh.
Okay, so I'm going to continue on with what he's saying here. Something's got to be done so that a person can't have an armory and pin down Las Vegas SWAT for 6 minutes. That's F-bombed up.
Yes.
He didn't pin down Las Vegas SWAT. Vegas SWAT sat on the floor below and listened to the guy freaking unloading on people. They didn't go up and kick the door in and do what they had to do, just like the people down Uvalde did.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, so, okay.
Doug Wolf, you're right. It's only why I listen to Hank Jr. and Waylon. Oh, for sure. So yeah, he goes on here. He goes on, you know, there are some things we can't stop, like the disgruntled kid who takes his dad's shotgun and walks into a high school, but we could have stopped the guy in Vegas. Okay, so he's fine with the kid taking a shotgun. You can't stop that. I beg to differ. You can stop that. You can stop that with armed people in the schools because it's happened. I've talked about it several times on the show. Shotguns, and especially a kid in the school with a shotgun and a revolver, killed 10, wounded 10 more in Texas, and it's happened numerous other times. But yep, and we just talked about last week about the backpacks for the school resource officers intended to do just that. Stop the threat.
Okay, so then he goes on here. When asked why we failed to stop the Vegas shooter, Church replied, "I blame the lobbyists, and the biggest in the world is the..."
Oh, that evil NRA.
Oh, not the NRA. I got bad news for you, Eric Church. The NRA is the biggest in the world, but there's a ton of people who think the NRA is weak, so you got a lot of other gun organizations that you should be hating on even more, but they are the big hammer. The NRA is still a big hammer.
They are.
He blames the lobbyists. So he blames the NRA, who is up there protecting our second civil right. It's in our rights, which he said is non-negotiable. He's blaming them for the Vegas shooting because I don't know why, but the NRA is a civil rights organization, and he said that's non-negotiable. But he wants them taken down for defending our rights.
Well,
I'll bet you Paddock wasn't even in the NRA. No, he wasn't. They'd brought that up. That'd have been headline news if he was an NRA member.
Oh, yeah, he wasn't even a
Charles Paddock was the name of the guy who did the Vegas shooting.
The guy that we wish was assuming some room temperature.
Yeah. Oh, and then he had to emphasize that he is not an NRA member, of course. So, okay, he's going on here again, and he comes up with his little line here about Second Amendment guy again, right?
Yeah.
I'm a Second Amendment guy, but I feel like they've been a bit of a roadblock. I don't care who you are. You shouldn't have that kind of power over elected officials. To me, it's cut and dry. The gun show loophole would not exist if it weren't for the NRA. So at this point in time, if I was an NRA member, I would think I have more of a problem than a solution. I would question myself real hard about what I wanted to be in the next 3, 4, or 5 years. So he's telling you, if you're an NRA member, basically you're responsible for the Vegas shooting and you're the problem. There's no gun show loophole. Paddock passed every freaking background check that fantasy leftists want you to do.
Yep.
There's nothing in his background. What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? Hey, by the way, I guess time ran out. 206 yay, 210 nay to adjourn. So it looks like they're gonna keep going. They keep trying to duck that. That's just a little update from the House Speaker.
Okay, appreciate that, Doug.
And
so gun show loophole. The lobby, the NRA's power is, they have lobbyists. Every business has a lobbyist who's big. It's not just gun, and the gun lobbies people like me and Clay and the people listening to the show who call their senators and congressmen and city officials and whatever, and want them to defend our rights. The NRA is just our hammer. I mean, we're swinging it, man.
We're part of the 5 million plus members of the NRA that does our lobbying through the ILA on our behalf. Trust me, they do hear from people. I can tell you at every level, especially if you're a local field rep, you do hear it all. And even get threatened. Your life gets threatened by some of them real tolerant people. But Vance brings up that Tim McGraw can go, him and Clint basically talking about church. Tim McGraw can go crawl in their safe space, try each other's stresses on.
Tim McGraw was another guy.
Well,
I can't remember
I'm going to bring that up. This was in that same article. Aldean, Tim McGraw, and Faith Hill, all. I mean, Jason Aldean, he was sitting there and he says he called the gun control debate a no-win situation, and that he's a singer that believes it's too easy to get access to firearms. Too easy. I don't know about you, but the last time I went and bought a firearm, it wasn't exactly difficult, but it was more difficult than buying groceries. I mean, I had to pick it out. They had to take it behind the counter, fill out the paperwork, do the. I mean, it goes on here and talks about how it's too easy.
You have to do that before you go to church, or before you go to get an abortion. You got to pass a background check. And no, that's okay. Right. I will say this about Aldean, though. That was right after that, and he did come around. Now he's pretty stout conservative now, so I'll give him a break on that.
Well, back then he was talking about how you get one in 5 minutes. I don't know about you. I've never been able to go buy a gun and get it in 5 minutes from an unlicensed FFL dealer.
No.
Well, I mean, it just doesn't happen from a licensed FFL.
Yeah.
There's other things that goes on. Now, Tim McGraw and Faith Hill are both still commies.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Tim McGraw, if I remember, he even owns some restaurants too, just like the other commie, Toby Keith, who will not allow firearms in their facilities for concealed carry. Permit holders.
He doesn't, huh?
No.
Okay.
He goes, look, I'm a bird hunter. That I always love that. Hey, I'm a hunter. That gives me credibility on the gun issue. No, don't. Yeah. Probably a FUD.
I love the wing shoe. Yeah, this Tim McGraw you got here.
Yeah. However, it takes some common sense. It's necessary when it comes to gun control. Well, you're right. It takes some common sense for me to control my firearm and use it properly and function it to hit my target. That's gun control to me. He goes, they want to make it about the Second Amendment every time it's brought up. But it's not about the Second Amendment. Wait a second. Gun control isn't about the Second Amendment?
Yeah. It's not. I mean, that's 100% about it. 100%.
Yeah, I laugh at that. Hey, I actually bring up a great thing. NRA isn't even in the top 20 lobbies. As far as money goes, you're absolutely right. They do carry a lot of weight because of reputation in D.C.
Because grassroots activism.
That's right. And that's what gives them the power. It's the people. What's wrong with the people having the power over their representatives and senators? That's actually how it should work.
Leftists don't like that.
Leftists don't like that because they like absolute power. And they really don't want anybody with an opposing opinion. But he's right. Doug is absolutely right. When it comes to money, doesn't even hit the top 20 list. Not even
Mike Bloomberg himself far outspends the NRA.
Yeah.
So he was talking about the loophole here, the gun show loophole, right? Eric Church, and like I said, the guy in Vegas, he bought his firearms. He bought it at a gun show, so he had to go through an FFL back. He did a background check. There was no gun show loophole.
No gun show loophole, guys.
Yeah.
And when they refer to the gun show loophole, that is the private sale. That'd be like, hey Jamie, God, I really want to get rid of one of these, which means I'm probably on drugs or something. But anyway, how about you want to buy that from me? And you go, sure, I'll buy that from you. Mm-hmm. And we we come to an agreement and make the sale. I'm not a dealer and I'm not in the business, but it's my personal property and you wanted it, so we made a deal. That's what they're talking about with the gun show loophole. And anybody that's been to a gun show, I don't know if anybody out there has, I imagine everybody, I can tell you right now, most of the guys in there are licensed FFL dealers anymore. You once in a while get the person who's selling their private collection, but not very often. It's mostly FFL dealers.
Yeah. So do you got to do a background check when you sell a computer to somebody? Because, I mean, they might use that for their First Amendment rights.
Oh, yeah. Or they might hack you. So maybe they should be checked out, make sure they don't have an evil background.
My AR is a little
Doug just another Speaker of the House update. They keep changing the vote to adjourn. Now it's 216 yay and 240. Oh, they must have found those mail-in ballots, Doug. That's what's happening. Oh, yeah. Nobody creating gun laws has common sense. Thus lies part of the problem. Absolutely right, Vance. Absolutely right.
Well, listen to Joe Biden talk about guns, and he's a huge he's a Second Amendment abolitionist is what he is. Yes. So, I mean, they don't know anything about guns. These people are complete idiots.
Absolutely. They're morons, and this is about control. Every single country that has went down in history the path of a dictatorship or communism or, name your poison. What's the first thing they do? They disarm the populace. Hell, I was reading an article today about how down in Brazil now, all of a sudden, now they're talking about disarming the people down there.
Oh, yeah. The Bolsonaro expanded their rights, and all the commie got in, and the first thing they're doing, sniping them out. You put that up there, yeah, like Lynette says here. Yet Tim McGraw is on a gunslinging Yellowstone spin-off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's in there saving his own bacon and defending his family and friends and getting his big ranch built up. And what do you do with guns and guts? But he's out there. Wow, you should just go out and shoot some birds at your 12 gauge. He ain't doing it on the show to 12 gauge. He's got a rifle and a pistol and a 12 gauge.
Costner's no different, guys. He's not a Second Amendment man, and he's on that commie China-funded Yellowstone, and I just know I pissed off a bunch of people. I'll never watch that. Yeah. If you knew the background on who funds that entire thing, it's bad. And then what about, remember Baldwin? Oh, what happened to him? Alec Baldwin, we ain't heard nothing about lately. He shot a guy.
No, he shot a gal and a guy. He killed a gal and shot a guy.
I mean... Accident, I suppose, but nonetheless, you were using one of them evil guns on one of your shows to make money, but yet you advocate that we shouldn't have them. I mean, these here, they've never killed nobody, never had no accidents. I have 2 kids that have grown up around guns stored like that yet. Yeah. Well, they may maybe little blue UN helmets or something.
If you do watch Yellowstone, I will say this. Rip, the guy in there, Rip, he did an interview in an NRA mag. Rip's pretty pro Second Amendment, seems pretty right wing from the interview I seen did with him. But yeah, you're right, Costner. I don't know about the rest of the guys in the movie, but I do know Rip, who's one of the main guys, is pretty badass. So
taking you.
I don't watch it. I did watch like the first 2 years, but it started kind of, to me, the plot started kind of repeating over, and I was like, well, okay, I've seen this before. So
and I think they were trying to capture some of the Longmire crowd. I don't know if you ever watched Longmire.
Oh yeah, I like Longmire. Yeah, for sure. Longmire's, I love that show.
And that guy was actually, they talk about Australia here. Someone mentioned Australia, if I remember right. I think that's where that actor originated from, if I remember. But I'd have to check that out. I know that he was kind of a unknown when they brought him on, and I thought he did a hell of a job.
Yeah. That was great.
Yeah, you're right, though, Kevin. I bet Australia has regrets, the people themselves, for not fighting back.
Joe will be next on Yellowstone bird hunting. Yeah.
Axe, are you enjoying a little peach crown like we are?
Yeah, actually, when I'm out there, he's a Fireball guy. So
okay, well, I'll
which I did partake in some last night with my dad and my buddy Trav. Dad came up and we went up to a local establishment here. We had a good time. They won some money gambling. I don't really enjoy gambling. They do. But
I'm gonna give Axe a call tomorrow. Just so you know, I'm gonna be calling you, Axe, because it's time to get that Dodge scheduled and get that stupid little kid leveling kit and lift kit out of my damn pickup.
Yeah. Well, Lynette says Beth is just as badass. I don't think she needs a gun. I think Beth has a gun, and I thought
could be
maybe she is a badass on the show. But I mean,
is that the one that got out of the hot tub naked? I saw something.
Yeah. Well, there's one part too, and a guy was going to shoot her, and she didn't give a shit. But that was back in the early days of it. But
she plays the opposite character of. She was also the wife of the guy in Heaven Is for Real, which was a pastor's wife, and their kid died, and
She did, Beth?
No, she didn't. She was the mother, but she plays the opposite character in Yellowstone. I mean, she would have never thought of being that character, cussing and.
Well, I always thought if I was an actor, I could play leftist good because I can't stand them, and I think that'd be fun to do. So that's why they're actors. Anyway.
Yeah, that's why they're actors.
All right, so. Anyways, we got Eric Church. If you're a North Dakotan and you're going to that, Eric Church, definitely not pro Second Amendment. Guarantee he hates your AR-15s. And if you got you got your bolt action and your double barrel, he might be okay with that. And you certainly can't have more than 100 rounds in your house, otherwise you're an MVE. So.
You're not a real hunter either if you got more than
that. Marty, Audie Murphy's the only movie star I watch. To hell with Audie Murphy that's definitely we're gonna have a Midwest badass coming up. I think Audie Murphy is from Texas. I'm not sure, but Audie Murphy's he's an American badass.
And I can tell you this, I know Marty don't watch nothing. I caught the show with you and Trent, and he was trying to bring up movies and you'd never heard of them, and they were common. So I know that Marty don't watch much. I'll tell you what, let's take a quick break here and recognize our sponsors again. And then I think we'll come back and probably go into our Midwest Badass.
Badass, Mr. Hugh Glass.
Oh, yeah. All right, here we go.
All right, let's go. Guns in the 701 is sponsored by Lauer Auto Repair, located on 309 South Washington Street, Bismarck, North Dakota. Doug and the boys are patriots who support your Second Amendment rights with friendly service, decades of experience, competitive pricing, and expert advice for all your auto needs. It's getting colder out, so bring your vehicle in for a checkup and let Doug make sure you won't get stuck out in the cold this season. Stop in and let him know that you heard it on Guns and the 701 and you appreciate his support for your freedom and, most importantly, our Second Amendment civil right. That's Lauer Auto Repair, Bismarck, North Dakota. Give him a call. 701-258-6308.
Guns in the 701 is sponsored by The Blind Guy of North Dakota for all your custom window coverings. You can contact them at 701-222-3932. They're freedom-minded, they're patriotic, and they love the Second Amendment. This husband-wife team was born and raised right here in North Dakota and based out of Bismarck. Again, for your Second Amendment company for all your custom window coverings, The Blind Guy of North Dakota, 701-222-3932, or visit them on the web at blindguynd.com. All right, so our Midwest Badass of the month is going to be Mr. Hugh Glass. So let's give the proper intro. I kind of reworked it.
Okay. That's some good music you picked there, Clay. Hey, Serena, you only missed half of it. You made it for the second half. You can go back and rewatch the rest.
What was that?
Yeah, Serena, she got a comment there. Damn, I missed it. I said, no, you didn't.
Nah.
Yeah.
We still got it. Yeah.
Serena and Alan own the bar in Golden Valley. If you come up in a couple of weeks, Clay, you'll meet them. So.
Oh, that'd be fun. Yeah, I always see your videos. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Clay and I started the first Midwest Badass was Joe Foss. And what made me think of Hugh Glass is actually the first time I went down to Clay's place. He told me where your Shade Hill Lake is. That's actually where the Revenant with the Leonardo DiCaprio movie. That's actually where this took place with Hugh Glass.
Yeah, that's and there's a memorial down there. In fact, I thought I had that loaded up here, right here. So if you get down there and you're going and you're traveling around Shade Hill Reservoir, you will see the Hugh Glass monument, and it talks about what happened, where it happened, and where you can see where the Grand River, the South and the North Fork come together. Now remember, there was no reservoir here when that happened, so it was just two rivers. It looks nothing like that worthless movie, and
well, Hollywood took some liberties with it, so
yeah. So I mean, here's just I was just kind of going through some things, and there was a little description. In 1823, an American fur trapper, Hugh Glass, was attacked by a grizzly bear during his exploitation of the upper Missouri River. Of course, as you were talking about, now that the Grand River actually dumps into the Missouri River.
Yep.
After being thrown to the ground by a bear, he got up and repeatedly stabbed that bear with his knife until it died. He was left for dead 200 miles from the nearest settlement, had a broken leg, cuts exposing bare ribs, and festering wounds. He regained consciousness, set his leg, used maggots to eat off the dead flesh, and crawled his way back to civilization over 6 weeks. Survived on roots, berries, and even chased wolves away from a bison carcass when he returned home. He got his rifle back and continued his work as a trapper. Now, that's a lot of information in one little paragraph about Hugh Glass.
Yeah, that kind of encapsulated it.
But you kind of get the idea.
Yeah. I got a story from where I got it from is the AmericanCowboy.com. There's a lot of great history stuff on there. I like that website. I'm not a real cowboy at all, but they got good stuff on there. I can tell you. So yeah, he before he was a mountain man, he joined this Ashley Henry fur trapping brigade when he was around 40.
Expedition.
Yeah, he was around 40, which was older than middle age at that time for sure.
Yeah,
you're 40 back in 1823. You're probably getting to be an old man, but that's when he first got into this. And this Ashley Henry party left St. Louis in the spring of 1823, making its way up the Missouri River. And within a short time, of course, they were set upon by Arikara Indians. Had a fight, and 15 of their guys were dead. Old Hugh was wounded in the leg. Of course, he lived, but 15 didn't, and he eventually healed up again, and he was on he was scouting, and says he was scouting ahead of the brigade near the forks of the Grand River, which is the forks of the Grand River is what, up by Williston?
Well,
or is it down by South Dakota there somewhere?
The forks of the Grand River, if it's the Grand River, is right where I showed you where that monument was. If you look
right
off
there.
That,
that's awesome.
See that point out there? That's where the South and the North Forks merge in the reservoir.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. Okay. Yeah. So he was doing that. He was healed up, and he entered a thicket to hunt for some berries. Immediately stumbled across a sow grizzly and her two cubs, and regrettably for old Hugh, he got the bad end of your thing. There says he stabbed it to death. The account here says he did get up and he was hacking away with his knife, and as time these guys got over there, they put several balls from their muskets into the thing and finally brought it down right next to Hugh. But he was stabbing away and they were shooting it, I guess.
And that's the thing about the Hugh Glass story, guys. It is. I mean, I've grown up listening to it just as most of us have around here because it's such a part of the Shade Hill area and the Grand River. But I can tell you right now, there's a lot of folklore and I'm sure a lot of embellishment and a lot of things people didn't quite remember that got added to that.
Yeah, well, like any story will, story. And so he was barely alive, I guess, and bleeding from a number of wounds, and these other trappers came over to make him comfortable and just kind of sat around, expected him to kick the bucket. But old Glass, he survived the night, and then the next few days, he didn't really improve a whole lot. And then this Major Henry, who was head of this expedition, decided that the party had to move on and get going, and to avoid, he thought the Indians were kind of seeing where they were and they were going to get an attack on them. So he offered to pay two guys $40 each, which at that time was the equivalent of 2 or 3 months' pay to remain with Hugh, remain with Glass until he died, and then catch up with him.
Yep.
So the two guys, this one guy's name was John Fitzgerald, and the other one, you'll maybe recognize this, some of you people, Jim Bridger, the Jim Bridger Ranger in Montana.
And there's even some skepticism about exactly what went on there.
Yeah.
They say that there was a kid or a young man that was named Bridger.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily know if it was Jim Bridger. There's not a real account of it. It's just been passed down by folklore. And so was it? I don't know. Nobody really knows what the truth is on that, but hey, that's okay.
Yeah. The cowboy.
Hey, Lynette, I was going to answer her. The monument is south of Lemon, down by the Shade Hill Reservoir. So if you know where Lemon, South Dakota is, it's about 125 miles south and west of Bismarck. And then you go down the Shade Hill Reservoir, which is about another 12 miles down to that monument, I would imagine, because you got to take the gravel scenic road that they made that goes down by the Hugh Glass campground. So Hugh Glass is ingrained around here. But yeah, it's kind of a cool little, if you're looking for a spring or summer, fall drive.
That's a nice area down there too, for sure. And I was pretty impressive with the terrain down there. And
Eric, I've used that monument when I used to hunt the public land when I was hunting deer.
Yeah, you're welcome, Serena. We got a little bit more to go, but you're welcome. And and then the reason we said Midwest badass is because this guy was mostly in the Midwest. He did get into the mountains over there a little bit, but
they don't know for sure, but they think that he was born around Pennsylvania to a Scottish, possibly Irish parents. They're not sure, but that's kind of what they have.
He was quite the scrapper.
Yeah.
So, like I said, the two men who stayed back were this John Fitzgerald, a seasoned trapper, and allegedly this other guy, Jim Bridger.
Yes.
They kind of settled in there and are just kind of waiting for Glass to die, but he didn't. And this Fitzgerald kind of, for lack of a better term, got sick of waiting around and wanted to catch up with the crew. So we kind of convinced this Bridger that, hey, there's nothing we can do. He's going to kick the bucket anyways. So they did, they took his old Glass's rifle and knife and everything
took all his stuff.
Yeah, anything that he had left, And, well, of course, true part of it was Glass regained his consciousness and started dragging himself to the water, nearby spring that he knew of. Snagged some buffalo berries and whatever you could eat. Probably, I'm sure if you were laying there, you're damn near starving to death. You eat whatever you can, get close to you. And he went around, like Clay said in the opening there. The same thing mine says. He kind of found he watched these wolves kill a buffalo. What do you call a young buffalo? I don't know what the heck you call it.
I don't know.
Calf. There you go. Yeah, and then so he went out and kind of fed on that, and he calculated that he was covering a mile a day when he was crawling, but he knew he had to do better than that. So eventually he stood up, and that's,
can you imagine that?
He started crawling not 10 miles. I mean a mile a day. And then, he walked upright, and then he figured once he got walking, he was making 10, which probably 10 miles a day. I mean, trust me, there's no roads. He wasn't walking on roads when he was doing this either. So.
No, he was on his own.
Yeah. And he got to this Fort Kiowa, I guess, which is in South Dakota as well. Yep. Yeah, where's that at? I looked it up.
I believe, if I remember right, it's down there by Chamberlain. If I remember the story correctly.
I think you are right. I tell you what, I got a screenshot of it where the heck that was. I'm gonna look at it. Fort Kiowa is.
I think it's down by that
Chamberlain, South Dakota. Yep. There you go, and then Big Bend of the Missouri. Yes. It was built in 1822 by the Columbia Fur Company. Okay.
I think he tried to go to the other fort first. I don't remember the name of. You got to remember, I've grown up with this story, so I'm kind of recollecting this from when we were kids.
Yeah, I mean, you know more about it than me.
But it seemed like that fort by that time had been abandoned. So I think it was Fort Henry, if I remember right. So that's why he had to keep going on. And that seems like that's what I remember being told. Mm-hmm. Heck, when we were in Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts at camps, camping out the Boy Scout cabin out there at the lake. I mean, that was the big thing to tell the big story about Jim Bridger and Hugh Glass. And it was kind of cool.
So, yeah, and then of course on his trek back, he damn near got stampeded by some buffalo, and of course some of Rickaros. Rickaros must have been around there before the Sioux, but the Rickaros, he hid from them too. The war parties are out looking, and of course they'd have found old Hugh. They'd have finished the job with a grizzly bear, but they didn't. And so he finally gets himself recuperated here. And he joined an expedition to the Mandan villages. Oh, really? Okay.
Oh.
And
where that's at.
Yeah. He was told that the Ashley Henry Company was wintering at Fort Henry. You know where that's at, Clay?
Yeah. Now that's because I got the wrong one there. Fort Henry is the one. Then it's up by the Yellowstone, right?
I'm not sure. I just seen it was Fort Henry. I didn't actually look it up. I was assuming. Yep. Okay,
so that's like I said. It's been a long time since I've had to recollect this story that was told.
Yeah, so he gets there. He gets to Fort Henry here because he figured this Fitzgerald and Bridger would be along with the rest of this party.
Mm-hmm.
And he set out in mid-November, and sure enough, on New Year's Eve, he gets to this place, and there was a storm outside, and of course, all these guys are in drinking and partying. It's New Year's Eve, and rough and tumble crew.
No.
Yeah. They're pounding on the gate here, and these guys open it up, and the first thing Glass says is, "Where's Fitzgerald and Bridger?" Well, I guess this Fitzgerald joined the army, and they said he's kind of untouchable, and if Glass wouldn't killed him, he'd get hanged for killing somebody. But Bridger was there, apparently, and he was in the corner. I'm sure he was shitting rubber nickels, to use a modern term.
There's Jim Bridger or
there. Okay, yep. No bear claw scars on him. But so Glass figured Bridger was pretty young, and maybe this Fitzgerald had influenced him, so he spared his life after giving him a good chewing out. And of course, Jim Bridger went on to maybe kind of turned his life around, because I guess he felt guilty as hell, and which whatever I'll do dumb stuff.
And there's been some. It's always amazing to me when you get into this stuff. What's folklore and what's real? What's been made up? And there's even people claiming that he didn't really go out looking for them. He went out looking for his stuff. He's pissed off they took his stuff, and that was his real motivation. Maybe he was hoping for a fight. I mean, I'd be pissed, but I don't think that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we'll never know. And sometimes they base it on, well, I'll show you this letter. So here's a letter, and it's the only one known that has survived that was written by Hugh Glass. It's on display down at the South Dakota Heritage Center. And then I'll bring up what it actually says, because you can't really read it.
Right.
And they figured that, I mean, here's a guy that's, he is a badass. I mean, he's tough, the man that couldn't be killed, basically.
Yeah.
And he wrote, "Dear Sir, my painful duty is to tell you of the depth of your son who befell at the hands of the Indians the 2nd day of June in early morning. He died a little while after he was shot and asked me to inform you of his sad fate." So the story goes that as this guy was dying, he basically said, "Hey," and John Gardner, "please, let my parents know that I died." Because, back then they might have never knew what happened.
Never known, yeah.
We brought him to the ship where he soon died. Mr. Smith, a young man of our company, made a powerful prayer, which moved us all greatly, and I am persuaded that John died in peace. His body we buried with the others near this camp and marked the grave with a log. His things that we will send to you, the savages, are greatly treacherous. I mean, when you read that paragraph, here's a guy that has empathy. He's trying to console these people in word, really. Think about that. A mountaineer man, frontiers man, he's trying to put this into 3 paragraphs and comfort the parents.
Which he did pretty good.
He did. We traded with them as friends, but after a great storm of rain and thunder, they came at us before the light, and many were hurt. I myself was shot in the leg, so he got shot again, or he got injured again. And Master
This
Ashley
is the first time he got shot, because I was 23 is when they went on this. So this must have been when he got shot.
Yes. Master Ashley is bound to stay in these parts till the traitors are rightly punished. Your observant servant, Hugh Glass. So I found that interesting. And like I said, this letter is actually on display.
That's awesome.
At the South Dakota Heritage Center, or well, they call it the Cultural Heritage Center in Pierre. So, yeah, I didn't even know they had that. So next time I'm in Pierre, I kind of want to go down there and visit.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know they had that.
So we're probably all wondering, I mean, if a bear that couldn't kill this guy, what finally killed him, right?
Yeah.
So Glass returned to his trapper's life, and his legend spread throughout the nation. The account was no doubt improved upon over time. And here's what Marty said in the comments: reflecting the old Western maxim, any story you can improve on just ain't worth telling.
Yeah.
So old Hugh ultimately was killed 10 years later, and guess what? His old buddies here, Rick, they got him 10 years later. They finally got him. They finally got him.
So yeah, the Indians finally did kill him, and I mean, that wasn't an unusual thing in those days.
But not before he's turned into a legend, for sure. That's a Midwest badass right there, my friends.
Yes, it is.
There's not a person alive right now, maybe other than Marty, that could pull that one off.
I think Marty could do it. I mean, he got bucked off a horse, broke his pelvis, and he went right back to riding pretty soon. So
yeah.
But I can tell you right now, Hugh Glass. I mean, this 1823, 1824, all this stuff. Think about it. Here it is, 2022, and we are still talking about Hugh Glass. I mean, that's kind of amazing, really. I mean, that don't,
because there's nothing like that. There's nothing like that. A guy pulls himself and walks 200 and some miles after that.
I mean, that's quite amazing. I don't know if there's anybody 200 years later that would have the fortitude to do it anymore.
That's what I said, other than Marty, but.
I mean, I got a big will to survive, but I tell you what, that would be overwhelming odds.
Man, I'm going to tell you, I'd be dead.
I ain't going to say I'd make it. I'd give it one hell of a try. But
yeah, I'd probably, coyotes or something would get me.
And not having a gun. That's the big thing.
I don't know about that. I don't know about Marty. I'm not saying you're as tough as Hugh, but I'm not going to agree with your comment about yourself there. You're selling yourself way short, my friend.
We got one advantage now, though. If it happened, we probably don't have to go 200 miles to find civilization and get help.
No. And like I said, when Hugh did it, there was no road. He wasn't following some straight line flat.
No medical help. Kevin Kills, I'd be a goner.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kevin. I'd be too. I'd make it a little bit. But.
So speaking of that, Kevin, as the story when we were kind of doing some research in this, and they think that he came from that Pennsylvania area. I'd be curious to know if you've ever heard anything out there in Pennsylvania about him, because
maybe his real name was Hugh Gillis.
Maybe you're long lost descendant. How about that?
Serena says, same fellas, I'd give it a go, but probably wouldn't come out on the good side of that things. Yeah, I agree with you, Serena. That's some toughness right there. That's unbelievable.
And those guys were tough. I mean, they had to be. The people that came out here and settled were some tough badasses. I mean, that's just the way it was.
I look back at my grandparents and compared to what I am, and even my dad. I mean, he grew up with, they had the outhouse and that, and there's no way I could compare to the toughness of my dad. Even then, you go back another couple generations. That's unbelievable. In the 1800s,
I look at right now, just the blizzard we came through. I have a generator. I have diesel on hand. I had have two front wheel assist tractors with one with a blower I mean, we got through the blizzard fairly easy. I mean, really, in reality, I can't imagine doing that 100 years ago.
Well,
100 years ago was just 1922.
Yeah,
you didn't have these conveniences out. I mean, I know this place didn't see electricity till like 1960 something. And not that it wasn't around here; they just didn't want it. Just like my mother-in-law's parents, they didn't get it till close to the 70s because he just looked at that as another bill he didn't need. I mean, that was how he
Yeah, I
looked
know,
at it.
I got you for sure. My grandma would tell me, if you go in there, you didn't flush the toilet until that thing was good and used because you're going to burn the pump out before it's time. So,
So, I mean, when you look at the difference, even just from then to now, yes, we got it pretty good. I mean, we've got some fortitude to live out here. You better have, or you're not going to make it here either, even today.
yeah,
But modern conveniences have made it very, very nice.
There's something to be said for the good old days, but I got to be honest with you. I mean, I prefer the good new days, honestly. I certainly don't want to have old Hugh Glass's musket. I like it when I can drop that 20 rounder in there and let her go.
I'll take something like one of these modern, the modern musket.
I could tell you this: if old Hugh had one of those with a 20 round mag in a 30 cal, that bear probably wouldn't have got him. So.
Oh my goodness! Scotch Irish here in Pennsylvania. I am, except my grandma and my dad's side came from Transylvania. Oh, part vampire.
Vlad the Impaler, man.
Vlad. Tell you what, before we go into your happy ending, let's take one more profit break.
Let's do it, buddy.
Thank our sponsors, and then we'll come back and do the happy ending of the week.
Historic artifacts under lock and key at the South Dakota Cultural Heritage Museum.
I queued up the wrong thing.
Whoa.
Imagine that, right? All right, guys. I believe I have it here.
Guns in the 701 is sponsored by Lauer Auto Repair, located on 309 South Washington Street, Bismarck, North Dakota. Doug and the boys are patriots who support your Second Amendment rights with friendly service, decades of experience, competitive pricing, and expert advice for all your auto needs. It's getting colder out, so bring your vehicle in for a checkup and let Doug make sure you won't get stuck out in the cold this season. Stop in and let him know that you heard it on Guns and the 701 and you appreciate his support for your freedom and, most importantly, our Second Amendment civil right. That's Lauer Auto Repair, Bismarck, North Dakota. Give him a call, 701-258-6308.
Guns in the 701 is sponsored by The Blind Guy of North Dakota. For all your custom window coverings, you can contact them at 701-222-3932. They're freedom-minded, they're patriotic, and they love the Second Amendment. This husband-wife team was born and raised right here in North Dakota and based out of Bismarck. Again, for your Second Amendment company, for all your custom window coverings, The Blind Guy of North Dakota, 701-222-3932, or visit them on the web at blindguynd.com. And again, like I said, we want to thank those sponsors. They've been great supporters of the show and allowed us to stay on and do what we do. We're glad to hear that it's working and some people are stopping in. So, again, if you need some great repairs, you got some blinds, guys, you know where to go. Lauer Auto Repair and the Blind Guy in North Dakota. They'll take care of you. Wyatt and Doug are great.
And when you go there, don't forget, tell them where you heard about it. The Blind Guy. You heard the Blind. You go to the Blind Guy. You go to Lauer Auto. Tell them you heard it on Guns in the 701. You appreciate them supporting shows that support your freedoms.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, I guess that's going to lead us here. We're going to go in our happy ending of the week. Yep. We got a couple announcements after that, and
we got a few things.
And then we're going to call it a night and kind of keep it at that hour because that seems to be the moment here. So, I'm going to go in. Are you ready for our intro to the happy ending of the
ready.
Week? I know you love it. Here we go.
I do love it.
Just don't get old. It just does not get old.
Oh yeah. So if you're listening on the podcast, Clay's got a video. It's like a guy working behind the counter. Somebody comes in and tries to rob him. Well, he gets a pistol in his mouth.
Yeah. Besides, that's not the thing to do. So. Hey, thanks, Brian. Yeah, I mean, and if you guys got some ideas for that badass spot, we're always open to them. We've been actually throwing some around here.
So the next one we're going to do is, Clay kind of brought it up. I didn't even think about it. Was what's the monument down there in Crazy Horse, right, Clay? We were going to
Crazy Horse, yeah. And the guy that they got a monument down there, and I can tell you right now,
super badass.
Crazy Horse was a badass. I know a little history about him, but we'll save that for the segment because I know Sitting Bull gets a lot of the press, but I'm telling you right now, Crazy Horse,
he
he was a good chief. He really
alpha
was,
male, big time.
Big time.
Okay, so this week's
thanks, Kevin.
Thanks everybody.
Thanks,
we had a great show. I appreciate you guys. Just hang in there. We're not done yet. We got a few more things here for you, but
especially this one.
The happy. Okay. Yeah, Elmer. Okay.
You're right. Yeah, I've read Elmer. I've read his book, and that is an awesome book, Marty. So yeah, that's I'm all right. I'm gonna add that to the list here. So
yeah, write it down. We got about 3 or 4 of them there. Let's do that. Hey guys, and everybody, keep your fingers crossed. Clay and I are around long enough to get these Midwest badasses out there. Okay, so today this week's happy ending is coming to us from Rainier Beach, Washington, where our buddy Travis is. Area up there, but I haven't seen him tonight. But so a guy there, a man inside his apartment defended himself when an intruder broke into the unit and opened fire on Sunday, November 20th. That's this year, 2022. So guy just breaks in, starts cranking freaking rounds, right?
Right.
So around 10:30, the 39-year-old intruder arrived at the apartment, which belonged to his ex-girlfriend. Okay, so we got a crazy ex-boyfriend, right? Kicked the door down, armed with a gun. The intruder immediately opened fire. A 19-year-old man inside the apartment armed himself and returned fire. The 19-year-old's rounds found their marks, striking the intruder multiple times. When police arrived, they found the wounded intruder, who was taken to the local medical center for treatment and kept under hospital guard. No one else was injured during the incident except for the pile of turds that kicked the door in. So it's not a fairy tale, but it is a happy ending because good citizen used his Second Amendment rights and his beautiful firearm to defend himself.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's just, I'm going to pull this up here. I'm doing my little screen share. Maybe I don't know if it's any better. But yeah, you can find us on the Armed Citizen there at theamericanrifleman.com. But that is a very happy ending. I mean, it could have been happier.
Yeah, it could have been a fairy tale ending. But so Clay and I are going to be on Todd Mitchell's show Friday. Mitchell in the morning, KFWR 550 AM at 8:40. And I can tell you right now, one of the things we're going to talk about, Clay, since we're talking about movies and whatnot, Avatar director James Cameron. We all know Avatar. It's all over the freaking TV and advertisements. And I mean, you can't go on a website without it popping up. He regrets gunplay in his past films, and he's happy to live in New Zealand where, quote, assault weapons are banned.
Oh, really?
I'm happy you're there too, scumbag. Why don't you stay there?
James Comey? That was what it was?
Yeah, James Comey run. Yeah. So we're gonna hit on that, and I'm sure we'll have another topic we're gonna hit on for sure. Todd's gonna be back, and last week we had some technical difficulties there, and Clay had to go it alone for whatever reason. I couldn't get in. I called and it wouldn't let me in. So I don't know what happened.
That was I don't know what happened either, and I wasn't thrilled with how that went.
I've listened to it. It sounded pretty good, so
but we did okay, I guess, right? I guess I had to wing it, but that wasn't how that was supposed to go.
Yeah, but we're gonna do that, and then next week, Clay, we'll give a little teaser of something next week that we were gonna do today, but decided we already had
a full show,
2 pounds of crap in a 1 pound bag already. So in Tennessee, we got Republican Becky Massey, who wants to reimburse people when they take a gun safety course, which is freaking awesome. I think that's awesome. We waste a bunch of money on worthless crap. This is something that could actually people would do.
That's right.
And you get reimbursed. That's, in my opinion, if you're going to spend freaking tax money, which they're going to do it for something like this. So we're going to go over that. That's going to be a good one. And then what the heck's this other one we got here? Okay, we got Mississippi is taking an active approach to guard against these mass shootings in schools, right, Clay? Because they're letting people with these concealed carry permits that they're giving to people when they take the course to carry in schools, right?
Yeah.
And Clay doesn't know about this one yet, but I found it. We had the trench gun thing here, Clay, a couple weeks ago.
Yes,
we got another
great
thing
segment
here, a spin-off on that. I think we're going to hit on this a little segment here. It's the Model 12 riot gun that the police used and the citizens here used. So
another weapon of war.
That a little bit. There's a weapon of war.
You know we might have to come up with a weapon of war segment that we do.
I think I like that. That's every gun and every bow. So I mean,
we can start off with the rock. You know.
Hey, speaking of that, you got a picture of that shirt that you and
that's
the
what I
wife
was just.
for?
That's why I was a little distracted. I was looking for that picture.
I heard you.
I don't think I have it on this computer because I made that on my other program. So
when I can tell you this, if you're listening, you know what I'm talking about. Clay and I, when we were on Mitchell in the morning there on KFYR 550 AM, the voice of Northern Plains. See how I did that shameless plug? I love it.
See how you did that.
8:40 every Friday. We were talking about T-shirts, and I told Clay what my idea was, and Todd said that he wanted a shirt that just said the original assault weapon with a rock on it. So Clay did something. We kind of talked, and he did something, and he called me, and Clay's pretty handy. He was designing this thing right as we were talking, and you can go on our Facebook page and look at it. Todd has it on there, and I shared it on Guns in the 701 on our face. It's it says the original assault weapon. It's a rock with a 30-round mag out of the bottom and a collapsible stock. There you go. Clay's got it right there.
I have it printed off on the wall here, so I just went and got it.
Oh man, Clay, didn't you tell me that's actually a piece of coal, which makes it?
It is,
better?
but it looks like a black rock, so that looked cool. And I sent him I sent it to him, awesome. And we did add the website. There's some other stuff we did to it, but added the website to it, and we put on the T-shirt. And I said, "Hey, Jamie, what do you think of this?" I had a stock I put on there, and then I found a 30 round mag from Magpul, and we just kept adjusting it. And I was sending it back. I said, "What do you think of this?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's
yeah." I'm like, make it like 2 inches shorter, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, right there, there you got it. Yeah, perfect." So
there we go.
That's funny right there.
That is a T-shirt that probably is going to be something we're going to have available.
Did you take the comments down? I can't see them. Clay's the master. Who runs Bartertown? Clay runs Bartertown. Clay runs Bartertown.
Not from Yellowstone.
No, that's from Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, you're running Bartertown, man. I can't control the comments. Clay runs Bartertown.
I like Bartertown.
Comments on.
There they are. They're on again, so I can bring them up.
Yeah.
Oh, Doug had Teddy Roosevelt. Well,
hey, remember we're going to do the marquee.
We're going to do the marquee.
I'm down with doing Teddy too. I know Clay thinks Teddy's a commie, and
he is, but he was a badass.
He is, but
I mean,
I'm down with doing a Teddy thing.
When you think about what him and the Rough Riders did, I mean, he was a badass.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, we talked about Teddy's pistol there right before he went on the charge San Juan Hill on Todd's show.
Did. That was
pretty cool. Yeah, you kind of dropped that one on me, but we handled it.
But we've talked about Crazy Horse, Guts and Borglum. I love the idea of Elmer Keith, Marty. I really do.
Hold on. Tell people who the Borglum is, because I forgot all about
Borglum. He's the guy that he sculpted Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, super badass.
Yeah, I mean, if you go down there and you look into that history and what they did and when they did it, oh my goodness.
Yeah, with the machinery they had and the equipment, and
he invented machines to do it.
Yeah, that's badass right there.
Yeah, it is. To be clear,
Kevin's not a vampire.
Kevin is not a vampire. He declared it here first on Guns in the 701.
Yep. So, and anybody wondering, I did go again with the guy with the caps. I got it set. They're going to be like gray with an off-white mesh on the back. I wanted to get 2 different kinds of caps, but trust me, my friends, these things aren't cheap, and it's just the way it's going to be for right now. And if I get them and they sell good, and Clay's going to do some like full-headed one, bigger, different style of cap, and I got mine are going to be the low profile, unstructured, sit right on your head, kind of like these blind guy one I got right here with the steer on there.
I like this one here. I like this one. That's a decent cap.
Yeah, I mean, you can go in there and try on, but he's going to send me one more design. They're going to be embroidered, and when they're done, I'll get them on here. And if anybody wants them, they're going to be $30. I mean, I got to make something on these suckers, so. But they're going to be nice. They're going to be they're sweet caps. They're sweet caps. Promise you that. So
And I talked to our bank that we're using up there. It sounds like it ain't too hard if we get a Venmo account. And I know they're kind of commie too, but it sounds like that's pretty easy to make happen.
As long as they're just kind of,
yeah. And our website is hosted by Square, by Public Square, and I found out that they're actually pretty conservative, which is a breath of fresh air.
You sent me that. I was pretty impressed. I was like, okay, well, these guys are awesome. No, there's gonna be no flat bill, Keith.
No flat bill, Keith. No, ain't no. So, by the way, I think you still got some of these too.
Oh, right? Yeah, there's some of the regular can koozies right there.
There's the regular ones, and then of course you've got the tall one, the pink, and you got one of these here.
Yep, I just got the slims in 2 different colors. So
we did. I think we're going to place an order this week for T-shirts, just to have a few on hand. And if we get all this done, we've got some pictures. We got hunting gnomes. We got the crossed AR-15s. We're definitely going to do the original assault weapon. Those will be probably, and of course our logo. But those will probably be the very first shirts or things available that if you want to get, you can. Things like sweatshirts we can do. But we're just going to take that as an on-order thing. So when we get this set up, we should be able to do it right from the friends, or not friends. You can tell I worked for NRA too long. About said like, friends at NRA.
You got something going I don't know about?
Yeah. On Guns in the 701, and there should be a store there. That's the goal, so that you can use Venmo, and hopefully we can use that Square, and that'll probably be the 2 forms that you can do online.
Yeah.
And that should, I can tell you what, doing PayPal ain't going to happen.
No.
When I was looking
that's
into
one
that,
of the things, like I talked about with Eric Church. There's things you can do, and there's some things you just can say no to that are absolutely against what you believe. Brian Wanner's got a comment for the cause, Jamie, just like I told you. Brian's right, man. Not only that, Brian, it is for the cause. The Second Amendment, your guns, your hunting, North Dakota. I mean, hey, I'm an ND. Like, I got a short video I put on Buck Muley's thing there. I'm an NDE, North Dakota extremist. You damn right, and we're number 1. You suck. Sorry, Kevin, you don't suck, but it is for the cause. And you get some badass looking caps and T-shirts. And I got a few. Clay and his wife are going to put some designs on her shirt when Clay's up. I'm gonna give him, and I'll show you what that's all about. So
and the thing is, just like when we were getting the podcast going, it took us several months to come to this, because we wanted to do it right. We still
appreciate that, Kevin.
It worked, but we had a lot of learning yet to do on that. Same with this. That's why we haven't launched anything, because I don't want to launch something and then not be able to deliver the product, guys. There's nothing more frustrating that to myself, and I'm sure to you. So that's why we haven't done it.
Yeah, for sure.
And I can tell you right now, shipping out of here. So we're gonna be looking at that too. If it comes up, or we're able to do it, when you guys place an order, we'll make them here, and hopefully I can get them to Bismarck and ship them out of there. We go up there quite often. I can tell you right now, I mean, I just sent that thing to Dan. What was that, when the post office finally opened back up?
Yeah.
I see it finally shipped.
Really?
Tracking. Yeah. So Dan, if you're listening, you should have it this week. But it literally finally just left Bismarck. Got out of here fine. It sat in Bismarck at that damn sorting facility for 4 days. And there's nothing you can do about it. You complain to them, they don't care.
Yeah. So, well, I will say that. I'll thank men and women here in Bismarck working at our post office. They've been doing a pretty damn good job. I appreciate that.
The post office has been good. It's that's that sorting facility up there on the expressway.
Yeah.
That's where our stuff gets hung up all the time. Oh,
Roy Brown. Roy's listening somewhere? No.
All right.
Okay. Hey, Roy.
Shipping everywhere sucks right now. Well, there's a lot of that too going on. We those plastic GM Tahoes don't stay together when they hit a deer. So we just took that in to get an estimate. And my dog.
Hey, Roy, if that's really you, if Roy's really listening, I'm going to be in the saddle store probably Saturday night. Come down there, man. I haven't seen you in a while.
Perfect. Well, with that, I think we pretty much covered everything and then some. Did a pretty good job covering everything we wanted. We got some plans, like we were talking about. And if you're looking for gear, we're going to get some out there. I'm hoping that the orders you'll be able to order your size. That's the idea. We'll get the size in, and then hopefully we can just send it off and get the stuff coming and make it.
If
we make it ourselves.
Yeah, and if we get enough support, people buying stuff, thanks, Dan. Appreciate you.
Yep. All
We
right,
can
Dan.
we can get some made, and if we're selling more, you know.
Yeah, hey Dan, and now, like I said, I just checked the tracking number. It literally just left the sorting facility in Bismarck today. So I would hope you would get it Thursday, Friday over there in Dickinson. So it's very frustrating, but that's the world we live in now.
All right. Well, tell you what. Yep. Like I said, Friday, 8:40 KFYR, 5:50 a.m. Join Clay and I. We're going to be on Mitchell in the morning. We got about a 10-minute segment with Todd. It's always a good time good to have Todd back. And, next week we're going to be here at this time and support our sponsors, Blind Guy in North Dakota, Lauer Auto Repair. And guys, please share. Please share everything on here with people. With more viewers we get and more supporters. And we're on a podcast, basically every platform. Every platform out there. We recommend iHeart. Thank you, Serena. We recommend iHeart. Hey, this is fun. I guarantee you, Clay and I could go for another hour easy.
Oh yeah, and no glitches tonight. How about that?
Yeah. I
didn't glitch out.
It was fun.
And guys, I can tell you, as the legislative session gets going here, that's my thing. I know I'm going to be up there a lot.
Oh yeah, we're going to be.
If it turns out, maybe I'll try to do some lives from there while I'm up there, because I got at least 3-4 bills I'm going to be testifying on. I know, so we'll keep you kind of informed on. I'm not going to go over everything they do, because we're going to keep it kind of focused on hunting and shooting and Second Amendment. That's what we got to do. I got the 50 cal bill. I'm telling you guys, we're getting more and more support for it. I didn't know how much of an uphill battle it would be, but it's starting to come about. But I plan to mention it quite a bit here in the next 2 weeks everywhere. So, like
Clay said, we try to keep it, good mix going here. But when we got our legislative session going, and Clay have some friends and acquaintances up there who are senators and congressmen, and when something comes up, we're going to let you guys know about it, and then spread the word, because we might need some support to get good bills passed for hunting, fishing. I mean, hey, I'm not a big fisherman anymore, but if something comes up that helps with your fishing, I'm down with that. But for sure, Second Amendment bills, we're going to need you guys' help on just calling in or texting in or emailing. It's easy to do. We'll let you know how to do it, and we'll probably put links up on our Facebook.
And if you want to testify, you don't necessarily have to show up in person anymore. They put in that big system, during China virus, and you actually can get on their link and testify at the committees via that link. And there's a big screen, because we were there. You and I were there last session, and Andrew Cord and I testified on our on the Stand Your Ground bill. So
that's where that commie from Mandan tried to make that little picture thing. Me and Marty up there testifying. Doug, maybe you can come to the High Alpine Range. I love the High Alpine Range in Mandan. Man, that's a picture. I can't wait.
So I got a question. Are you going to be around at all on Friday when I'm up there?
Yeah, I'm going to be here Friday. I'm not. Trav and I are going to Mercer County till Saturday at some point.
So let's talk a little bit. I'll get a hold of Axe. We can kind of maybe, if nothing else, I have some meetings up there, but most of them are in the evening. The one in the earlier afternoon. So maybe we can make something happen. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah. Let's
go relax myself before I have to go raise hell.
Get all that aggression out before the meeting. All right, man.
All right,
Uncle Dean's listening. He's listening from San Diego. Appreciate that, Uncle. Right. Clay knows Uncle Dean. We were over 1270. My Uncle Dean's a Vietnam veteran. He came in there and did an interview with us there on
Memorial Day.
That was awesome, man. We got to do that. Actually, Uncle Dean. Me and Clay, when that comes around again, we want to have you on again and do that a little more in depth, because
absolutely
we can do a whole nother hour on that easy. That was very interesting, and I like that. I learned some stuff I didn't even know about.
I did too. I couldn't, and I'm a history guy anyway, but to have the actual person there doing it, that's I had a grandfather who served in World War II, and he made damn sure I knew what they went through, and I'm grateful that I actually sat down and visited with them, even though I was so young. So I'm glad to get those stories. So I'd love to have Dean back on.
Tell everybody hi down in San Diego from us. So
Betty's warmer than we are.
So.
All right, guys.
I'm not complaining. No wind here. I love it. So.
We are going to call it a wrap tonight. We're about 20 minutes over, but we've been kind of doing some bullshit.
Right on.
So
it was fun.
We appreciate everybody listening and the comments. And if we missed you, sorry, but we do appreciate it. And just keep on listening. Share it. thank our sponsors again, Laurel Auto Repair and the Blind Guy of North Dakota. I'm telling you, they're great patriots. Do some business with them, and you will never be you will not be disappointed. So
absolutely not.
Until next week, don't forget to on Friday tune in 8:40 Central Time on KFYR with Mitchell in the morning, and we'll see you here next Wednesday, 6:00 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 7:00 Central Time. So until then,
powder dry.
Keep your powder dry.
Keep your powder dry. Thank you. P701 preparedness. Appreciate you listening. New listener, love it. Good show. Thank you. Right. I appreciate you listening.
Absolutely. All
Clayton,
right.
I'll
we'll
talk
see you guys
shortly,
next week.
my friend.
Yep.
Everybody have a great weekend.